Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. The Indiana Pacers, man. The freaking Indiana Pacers find a way. Tyrese Halliburton does it again. Stuns the Thunder, and they steal game one of the NBA Finals. What a game. We're going to talk all about it here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're very, very close. We're like right there. So support on channel, very much appreciated. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. Man. The Pacers find a way to do it again. Steal game one in OKC of the finals, and now we have a series. You know, for the people that were saying this isn't going to be a great finals, people that weren't interested in this finals or whatever, well, here you go. Start watching, because oh my goodness. I had a lot, because I thought OKC was winning this game, so I had all my notes were just, all my things I was going to say was all about OKC, but now I feel like I can't really say that anymore because what just happened. We'll start with them starting the game, and then we'll get to where the Pacers come back. So to start this game, OKC was just doing what OKC does, forcing turnovers. 19 turnovers in the first half for the Pacers. Just couldn't get anything going. Halliburton, I think, had 6 points in the first half. I think he only maybe took like 4 shots or something like that. It was tough for Indiana to really get things going. There was a lot of bad turnovers. OKC was doing a great job of, playing the passing lanes. Also, a lot of just for Indiana turn the ball over themselves. Indiana, just a lot of like weird plays. A lot of just people throwing the ball randomly. Obi Toppin came in and had like 3 turnovers in a row. I was like, bro, what are you doing? And it was tough. And OKC's defense was really kind of like living with, we're going to guard Halliburton. We're face guard Halliburton. We're not letting Halliburton even touch the ball in these possessions. And we're going to force Nemhard and Neesmith and Siakam and Miles Turner. Those guys are going to have to create themselves. And it was working because it felt like every time Miles Turner or Aaron Neesmith them touched the ball, it was a turnover. Miles Turner had 6 turnovers in this game. Because every time he had the ball and tried to make a move, Lou Dort just said, here, take me. Mine. And that's what OKC was doing. And OKC's offense just was not great in this entire game, especially in the first half. It was only like a 12-point game, but it felt like it should have been 20 because really the only thing carrying OKC's offense was Shea. Shea was just on it. He was just getting anything he wanted. Then Lou Dort for the entire game. Lou Dort, I made a tweet before the Pacers won the game. I said, give Lou Dort the game ball because Lou Dort from the get-go was just everywhere. Whether it's defensive plays, getting steals, getting blocks, hitting threes, getting offensive rebounds. Like Lou Dort, his energy was just like infectious in this game. And that's what the first half was like. Get to the third quarter, and it looks like OKC's about to start making their run. Shea starts hitting more shots. You get a little more contribution from Caruso and Hartenstein and Lou Dort. And it's like, okay, OKC takes a 15-point lead early in the fourth quarter. And that's where it looks like, that's where I kind of was like, okay, here comes that OKC avalanche. They're going to win this game. And then there it is, But something that happened throughout the entirety of the game was OKC could never put them away. They got up by 15, but OKC could never just put the needle, like, bury them in the dirt in this game. Indiana always had a little run or some little thing happened that kept them within 8 to 12, 13 points, and they were right there. And I was like, dang, man, Indiana's right here still, but I still feel confident in OKC, But there's something in the back of your head that's like, dang, they can't really put them away yet. And then we get to the fourth quarter after the 15-point lead, and that's when Indiana starts to really do things. Pascal had some shots. Miles Turner hit a big three-pointer at some point off the glass. Andrew Nemhard was huge on both ends, offensively and defensively. Tyrese Halliburton starts to, get shots. I feel like the coverage for OKC really toned down the physicality. They're allowing a lot of the mid-range jump shot. Which is something I said in Game 6 of the Knicks Pacers series that Halliburton was doing that I really want to see him do more, was getting the mid-range. It doesn't have to be always a 3 or get to the rim and lay up or kick out. I like to see him work in that floater mid-range area. And I think in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, he started to attack that more with Hartenstein, not really in drop, but also not really like fully forcing up all the time. So when he had the mid-range, had the floater from the free throw line, he took it and he was making it. Obi Toppin, who had for the first half, I was like, I don't even know if he should even be playing minutes. Ends up hitting 5 threes. He hit huge threes in this fourth quarter. Indiana ends up hitting 18 threes in this game. They dominate on the rebounding battle. 3 players had 10 rebounds for Indiana. And that was big in the second half. Aaron Nesmith, Pascal, and Tyrese all had double-digit rebounds. And that was big. Indiana survives only having 24 turnovers. 24 turnovers. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players have 2 or more turnovers. They have 5 players that had at least 3 turnovers in this game. But we get to the fourth quarter, get to that last few minutes, and Indiana just, they never say die. That's something that's happened this entire series. They've had a game in every series where it looks like the game is over and they're going to call it, and they just never gave up. Never gave up and just kept holding on for dear life to the last few minutes. And then, they took it over the top. In the Bucks series, where that last elimination game 5, down 7 with 40 seconds left, find a way to come back, and it takes the Halliburton, you win that game. Game 2 against the Cavaliers, down by 20. Come back, Halliburton again, it saves you, you end up winning that game. You go up 2-0, and eventually win that series. Game 1 against the Knicks, you're down 17 in the fourth quarter. Find a way to come back, Halliburton again, forces overtime, and you win in overtime. And then today, down by 15 in the fourth quarter. Didn't look great all game. OKC was really in control for 99.9% of this game. OKC was not running away with it score-wise, but visually watching, it felt like it was a 25-point game because OKC was just doing everything right. But again, OKC could never put them away, and Indiana just got to stick around. Just stick around. That's what you say all the time. Like, just stick around and find a way to be in the game in the last 5 minutes. And then, it's up in the air. And when it comes to the Pacers, it's never up in the air because Indiana wins these games. Tyrese Halliburton, who wasn't a huge factor in this game, didn't have an amazing game, tonight. But he comes down off that, I think it was Shea missed the free throw or something. Oh no, it was a Shea missed a fadeaway jump shot. Halliburton comes down, no timeout, pulls up for the midi that has been going in the fourth quarter, and hits that shot. And for the 4th time this playoffs, Tyrese Halliburton has hit a game winner. He has become Mr. Clutch. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous and insane that when it comes down to the last few possessions in the last minute of the game, and the last 30 seconds of the game, the last 5 seconds of the game, Tyrese Halliburton doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. He's made all of those shots. Again, the Bucks series, game 5, the Cavs game where he hit the 3 off his own offensive rebound and did the Sam Cassell. The Knicks game 1 where he comes down, relocates, hits the 3 and does the choke, and they end up winning overtime. Then tonight, he comes down and pulls that mid-range over Casey Wallace and knocks it down with no fear at all in his heart. Like, it's just, he is legit on a generational playoff run. Not just with the numbers, but the moments. Like, some stars don't get this many moments in their entire career in the playoffs. There's been so many Hall of Fame elite talents that don't have 4 playoff moments in their career where it's like, man, he has 4 in this run alone. That's like, what? Like, this guy is insane. It is ridiculous. So you got to give credit to the Indiana Pacers because, again, they never say die. The game does not end till the clock says 0, and the Indiana Pacers are the definition of never ever give up. Because until the clock hits 0, 0, 0, and there's still at least 0.1 second left, and there's still time on this clock, we have a chance to win this game. And Indiana did that. And even though they did not play a perfect game at all, there was a lot of things I thought they could do better. Moss Turner was not great in this game at all. Nesmith did knock down shots. The bench, I didn't love the bench, even though they kind of came around a little bit at the end. The bench was not amazing in this game. I thought some of the minutes were kind of weird. And all that stuff, but they find a way to win, and that's what you do in the NBA playoffs. And then for the OKC side, this was very similar. It's dang near the same exact script as game 1 against Denver. The game 1 of the Denver series, where they were in control for most of the game. You felt like, okay, they got it. And then you saw it slowly, Denver just stayed around. And then in the last 5 minutes, Denver just slowly came up. A made shot here, a missed opportunity for OKC here, there. Then all of a sudden, Aaron Gordon comes down and hits a 3-pointer, and you look up and you're like, we lost. And that's what happened here today, where you're in control, you're dominating, kind of. Indeed, you cannot put them away. They're still around. Get to the last few minutes, and a missed shot here, miss assignment here, give up a shot here, give a foul here, and all of a sudden Halliburton hits that shot, and you look up, it's 0.3 seconds, and you're down by one, and you're like, what just happened? And that was one of these games for OKC. You saw in the Denver series, where this happened to OKC, where game one and game three, where they just could not put Denver away. And in the last few minutes in clutch performances, they just were not able to, pull it out. But also during that series, you saw the flip around and how they turned that into advantage. And now, since then, they've been winning clutch games until today. Um, just not a good offensive game. I mean, they shot sub 40% from the field in this game. It was a bad offensive night. Shea gave you 38, and he took 30 shots because he had to. J-Dub with a 6 for 19 tough shooting performance. Even though I didn't mind the shots he was taking, just couldn't make it. Chet Holmgren, really tough night. Only played 23 minutes. 6.6 rebounds, just was not really a factor at all in this game at all. And you look at the bench. I mean, Caruso gives you 11 points. Hartenstein gives you 9. We get a 3 here from Isaiah Joe. Cason Wallace, who got moved to the starting lineup tonight, didn't have a great offensive game. A lot of his shots were short. Really, it was kind of just Shea and Lou Dort on offense. There was only two. It was Shea, Lou Dort, and then hoping that you force turnovers. And in the second half, Indiana didn't have to turn the ball over. Indiana only had 5 turnovers in the second half. Indiana started to control the ball. They started to, play similar to what we've seen from them throughout the entire playoff run. They started not to make those bad, terrible decisions. And they've again they start dominating the glass. 13 offensive rebounds in this one. Just be able to find a way to stick around and win this game. And man, I'm still kind of just like, wow, what just happened, man? I mean, insane. For OKC, they've had nights like this before where they struggle to shoot offensively. And I said in my preview of this series, I said J-Dub and Chat are gonna have to keep playing like what they did in the Western Conference Finals. And tonight, they did not do that. We've seen in the Denver series where if J-Dub and Chat aren't shooting the ball well, OKC's not gonna be able to win games with just Shea backpacking. They're gonna need J-Dub to knock down shots. They're gonna need Chet Holmgren to be effective in this game. And if those two can't be effective, it's gonna be really tough for a one man crew. I think they need to clean up on that. I didn't mind the defense that they played the first 3.5 quarters, but I thought the physicality and the effort, energy level, really slowed down the fourth. There's a lot of times where I saw Indiana being able to just walk and get a bucket, and I'm like, dang, like what happened to the? Like I felt like the intensity level of the defense really, really shot down once Indiana started making their run. Because then I felt like OKC started worrying more about what are we gonna do offensively and who's going to hit shots offensively to stop this run instead of let's get stops to end this run and do what we'll be doing for the first 40 minutes of this game. So I feel like OKC's intensity level really shot down as the game went on. Chet and J-Dub not being able to have big performances was big in this game as well. And they're going to have to clean up the rebounding too. I mean, OKC loses rebounding games sometimes because they're just not a big team, but 64-47, 3 players having double-figure rebounds, they got to clean it up, and that's also a big part of Chet not playing a big minutes because Chet wasn't able to do much. I mean, OKC had 10 offensive rebounds in this game, which is not bad, but we give up 13 offensive rebounds to a team that shoots the ball very well. They're not going to have many bad shooting nights. It's tough. So, yeah, just a real fumble by OKC, man. That's a real tough loss. I expected to bounce back in game 2 because that's what they did in the Denver series. I expect them to bounce back in game 2. I expect them to be a lot better. I expect everybody to be a lot better for them. But for Indiana, I mean, right now, they're kind of just playing with house money right now. I mean, you're able to steal game 1, even no matter what happens in game 2. I feel like no matter what, you get used by 30 in game 2. I feel like it doesn't really matter because you stole one in OKC, and that's all you kind of could ask. Like there was a 90%, there's a great chance that you weren't even going to get a game in OKC. Maybe even be a close game in OKC potentially. And you're able to steal game 1 in that type of fashion. I feel like game 2 was kind of just like a whatever happens. Now, obviously, still got to come out and perform. I'm not saying you have an excuse to not perform because you still got to come out and perform and do your thing. And there's still some things that you got to do better. This is not a perfect game for you by any means at all. But this also was a very terrible game for OKC. And you're able to squeak by that one. So you have to assume that OKC is going to come with their best punch in game 2 because they do not want to lose both games in Oklahoma City. So I expect OKC to come out with their best punch in game 2 and really put the foot on the gas. It's going to be about, can Indiana combat that? How much can Indiana combat that? I don't know if they can afford Tyrese Halliburton to have a type of game like this. I said in my preview, if Tyrese Halliburton isn't able to really go off, I don't think the Pacers have a chance. And luckily today, Tyrese didn't have a insane game in 14, 10, and 6 on decent shooting, whatever. But he wasn't able to be aggressive until we got to the fourth quarter, which I guess is really all that matters. Again, he hit the big shot, so it kind of doesn't matter what his stat line was because he hit the shot to win the game. So I guess he did go off. But I think Halliburton's going to need to be more aggressive at some points. I think they're going to need guys like Neesmith and Miles Turner to knock down some shots. I mean, Neesmith today, 3 for 7 from three. He hit a big one in the fourth quarter. Miles Turner also hit a big one in the fourth quarter. But I think they need those two to be more consistent. And they're also going to need those two to stop putting the ball on the floor recklessly. Those two combined for 11 turnovers. Those two combined had more turnovers than the entire Thunder team. So those two are going to have to, learn how to not just put the ball on the floor and let Lou Dort steal the ball from them every single time down. Because it really was those two just turn the ball over left and right, left and right, left and right. So those two are going to have to be better. But yeah, man, I mean, what a game. And also fouling. Indiana got lucky because Indiana gave up 24 free throws and OKC made 21 of them. There was a lot of times, especially where I felt like Indiana was playing good defense, but they just fouled. They just were like fouling at the end. And it's like, why? You were playing good defense. Just, don't give it up. Just let him have to take a tough two. Just giving up a lot of easy possessions. But again, it kind of doesn't. I had all this in my mind prepared to talk about OKC, and Indiana just stunned, man. Like, wow. Like, this is. I said it in the last series. I think I said it in every game for the Pacers. This has been one of the more crazy and fun playoff runs by a single team in a long time, man. I mean, this is just, if you don't like this, I don't know what to say. I mean, feels like every other game, they're just having some insane performance. That's like, what the heck is going on right now? Like, this team breaks your brain of like, how are they doing this? How are they here? And to be able to do it on the finals in a game one, to do this is like, man, I'm so excited now for this series. Like, I was still excited for this series coming in. Like, I was going to watch every minute of it because I love basketball, obviously. I'm going to watch it. I love these two teams in the finals. These have been the two best teams in the NBA since 2025, so it's only right and deserving that they are in the finals playing against each other. But this game right here just brought my excitement level from, like, here to, like, through the roof because I'm like, I cannot wait to see how the rest of this goes. Because I said also, Indiana's a team of miracles, man. This is a team. This feels like the team of destiny, where it just feels like everything. It just feels like the basketball gods love this. There's something about this team that the basketball gods say, you know what? Here you go. Just keep giving them opportunities and chances to stay around, and they capitalize on it. They do it. This feels like the team of destiny, where it's just like, man, this team is just destined to do something absolutely historic. And I feel like, honestly, because this game was such a big moment, I honestly don't really care what the rest of the series looks like for the Pacers. The Pacers could lose 4 games in a row in this series, and I kind of wouldn't really care. Because this game and this moment, Halliburton have that moment, the Pacers have this moment, stealing game one. Like, I don't know. To me, at least, this is just such a crazy and big game for them. That's like, I kind of don't really care what the rest of this series looks like. Because Indiana, I mean, you got to tip your caps. So very excited. Sunday, game 2. We'll see what happens. But yeah, TBFC, I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, doing all this like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're very close. We're right there. So all support on channel. Very much appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.